Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today, we're going to be doing some apple projects for our STEM. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about balancing an apple. Here we have our apples, and I've put the two clothespins down at the bottom, and I stood them up, and it will stand up. As you can see there, it does stand up on its own. And I've got another one here. And I found that if I put you can try putting the clothespins in different places and see how far apart they can go and still stand up. As you can see, I've got these farther apart. You can put them down here. We can even go to this far. See if it still stands. Oh, that didn't work. So we can just keep moving them around until we get to the point where they will stand up. And this does stand up. Stands up just like that. And this one stands up. So that's our balancing apple activity. Now, I'm going to share with you some other activities that you can do at home. All right, there we go. So let me move this over and get this out of our way. Make my screen smaller here. All right, as you can see from the slide, it says stay at home, STEAM, Apple STEM activities. So one of the other activities that you can do with apples is, so if we take an apple and if we cut it in half, and you would want your parents to help you with this, so I'm going to take a knife and I'm going to cut my apple in half. And what you do is you dip it in paint and press down on the paper to create a super cool apple-shaped print stamp. You can use different kinds of paper, things like newsprint, paper towels, even construction paper. And depending on what colors you use, then you can have different colors of prints with your apple. Now, another thing that we can do is called fizzy apples. And you would make an apple template like I did for the balancing apples. And you would mix baking soda and water together, which are things that you should have at home, and mix it together to make a paste and paint it onto the apples. Then you would add food coloring with vinegar and watch the chemical reaction. And that will create some very neat designs on your apples. And one last thing that you can do is called coffee filter fruit. You would take some coffee filters, color them with water-soluble markers, spray the water and watch the colors blur and blend together. Then you would take an apple shape and cut the filters into those apple shapes. And you could always put them on colored paper, make a frame out of colored paper to put them on. So those are some activities that you can do with apples. And this is the time of year when we start picking apples. And this is some fun things that you can do with those apples and some things that you can also do with paper apples. So hopefully this will give you some ideas of things to do with apples. One of the places that I get a lot of ideas is called Little Bins for Little Hands. And they have a lot of nice STEM ideas, and that's where these ideas came from, was from the Little Bins for Little Hands. So hopefully this will give you some ideas of activities you can do with apples, and you can do them at home. So thank you for joining me today. This is Miss Theresa from the Sycamore Plaza Library. And hopefully this will give you some ideas of things that you can do with those apples. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully we will see you again.